Welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today, I'm working on a basket case QX56. This is an Infiniti SUV. It's not a basket case because it's a crazy housewife who's running around playing soccer all the time. It's a basket case because all the parts to the car are coming to me in baskets. I didn't do this on purpose. This is just the way my life goes. But if this is the kind of stuff you like to see, stick around. I'll either win or I will lose. Pulleys! Oh. Dirty pulleys. With oil parts. It's awesome. Hey, look! It's the brand new high pressure fuel pump. Guess we'll clean that up. Thermostat housing. I've never taken one of these trucks apart before. Honestly, I'm not sure I've ever worked on one of these cars before. I'm about to learn. Intake manifold. Get all our stuff organized and figure out what the heck we're gonna do. Well, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do timing chains on it. Apparently that's a fairly common problem on these trucks. And now I gotta figure out where all these parts go. Let's start by cleaning things up. Pull the front nose so that we have access, and then we'll figure it out as we go. This is not actually a customer's car. This is a vehicle I purchased to replace my Excursion. I had a diesel Excursion, and one of the friends of the shop saw it and liked it, had to have it, so I ended up selling my Excursion. The problem is now I need a vehicle to tow my boat to the lake with, and hopefully this is it. I bought it broken. Got a really good deal on it, assuming I can fix it. If I can't fix it, then I got a bad deal. So this is a big cluster mess. Alright, so this is a pretty in-depth job. You have to pull the front differential, drop the rack and pinion, so that you can pull the oil pan. And then you have to pull everything off the nose of the engine. And unfortunately, this thing has a lot more damage to it than I was originally expecting. This guy right here is the cam lobe that drives your fuel pump, and it is damaged. It actually wore all the way through the lifter cup, and it's dripping on me again. Gross. At least it's just engine coolant. But I did have a little bit of damage on the front cover, which I was able to dress with a file, no big deal. New cup, new cam, which I had to order. I was hoping to have that today, but I'm not going to have it. I'm hopefully going to have it tomorrow. I am trying to use this truck next week for a trip. But you can see this tensioner is pushed way out, and this chain is super tight. The chain is definitely stretched. Chain is stretched. This one's not stretched near as bad, and these chains have been replaced previously under recall. So whatever. I'll get all my surfaces clean tonight, pull off my chains, have it all ready to sling the chains on it when the new cam comes, which will hopefully be tomorrow. We'll see. So yeah, QX56, QX80. 2011 to now, it's the same vehicle. And I believe the TSB for the chain stretch issue is the 11s through 16 or 17. Anyway, they have redesigned the chains. It's about, I'm gonna have about $1,800 in engine parts to fix this, because that cam is like $700. my cost. So pretty substantial damage. I'll show you the cup. So that's our new chain. It's got marked links for setting your timing. New guides. This is the new lifter cup for the high pressure fuel pump, and that's the old one. And you can see it did a number on it. So we're going to make sure our jets, our oil jets that keep these chains lubed are good. So we're going to put new lube jets in it. Guides, new crank gears, and a whole bunch of gaskets and seals. Well, I'm here to tell you, I don't get lucky very often, but I got lucky today. Yesterday, I came to the conclusion that I needed to replace this guy. This is the fuel pump drive cam that runs the high pressure fuel pump on the QX56 and QX80. Mine was damaged. My chain on that side was stretched, and it actually wore through the lifter cam bucket, and that's bad. So there was one of those left. It was in Chicago yesterday. I called them up. Actually, I went in to go get the part because they said they had it, and I went there and I'm like, I already have that. That's not the part I need. This is the part I need. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a substantially more expensive. It's like $660 for that little guy. I'm like, I want the oil jets too. And he's like, why do you want them both? I'm like, well, because I want to be better safe than sorry. I'm in here, so $50 for these little oil spray bars. These are the guys that lubricate your timing chain, and I'm going to put both of them in. I definitely have excessive chain wear on the right bank, which is why the fuel pump cam wore through the fuel pump lifter. So, new jets, new chains, new crank sprockets, new gear, and it's time to clean up my parts and put it back together. So, let's get after it and see if I can make this thing run again, because I need a truck to tow my boat next week. So you can see a lack of lubricity caused some pretty major problems. I don't know if that'll focus or not. Focus? Focus. Maybe focus. Whatever. So you can see it's all methed up. My new one is all nice and shiny. You can see this one's actually got a groove worn in it, and the cam lobes are actually worn off of it. And that's because the cam lifter, this is what actuates your high pressure fuel pump, was worn all the way through it. And then this puck came out and hit the timing cover and galled it up and made a mess. I was able to clean up the timing cover and dress it. I think it'll be okay. New puck, new cam, new chains. A lot of cleaning these liquid sealant surfaces off is kind of a pain. I've got the oil pan ready to be scraped, and then I will clean it one more time, and then it's pretty much time to start going back together with this thing. It's pretty impressive damage right there on that guy. It's not supposed to happen, especially on a 160,000 mile truck that just had timing chains put in it. It looks like how do you miss that when you have it apart? I was originally going to pull the nose off this thing, but unfortunately my hardware to do that is all seized, and it was easier to just pull the radiator, AC condenser, and transmission cooler cartridge out, and I have enough room to do what I got to do. If the fuel pump cam has a timing mark or not. We're gonna have to figure that out. I would think it does. Hey, there it is. It does have a timing mark. That explains why when there's timing chain stretch, it ends up setting codes that revolve around high pressure fuel pump timing issues. fun stuff. Learning a lot on this thing. I have never worked on one of these previously to this one. Taking me a lot of time to do the first one, but I'm not too bad. I'm 7-8 hours into it, and I'll probably have that in it by the time I'm all said and done, so probably 20 hours. Probably cut that labor time down a whole lot now that I actually know what I'm doing, or at least a little bit about what I'm doing. I'm going to clean my gasket surfaces. That's going to take a bit. We'll come back in a spell. Those guide bolts were actually loose when I took this apart, which leaves a little bit to be desired. We'll tighten them up just for kicks and giggles. Sling some chains. Timing gear, fuel pump gear, crankshaft. So it's not real easy to see this because I can't pull the nose off this car. But this guy here, is a spray bar. It sprays oil onto the chain and lubricates the chain. The chain gets lubricated all the way around the circuit. Same thing over here. This is the lube bar, and it goes right here, and it lubricates the chain for this side. I just pulled this guy out and I ran solvent through it, and one hole is completely plugged and the other hole is partially plugged. Now I was going to replace both of these, but the parts guy said, oh, they're both the same, I have those in stock. And they're clearly not the same, because this one sits at an angle and you can see the line in it is to be vertical, and the line in this one is to be vertical when they're installed correctly. And the flat is at a different area, therefore the bars are going to be at a different area. Now, I suppose you could use this, but they're also a different length. So they are not the same, contrary to popular belief. This chain didn't have any wear on it, or it had less than half the wear of what this did. So I'm going to probably pull this out, make sure that it's flowing properly. And if it is, great. If it isn't, I will clean it out with a drill bit and then I'll reinstall it, because I don't want to do this again. Alright. So my yellow link is on my crank dot. My gold link is on my fuel cam dot. My gold link is on my intake cam mark. And my gold link is on the exhaust cam mark. All my bolts are torqued in. I did put a new oil bar there because it was plugged, causing this problem. Now I'm going to pull our grenade pin. In this case, it's a drill bit. That guy is ready to blow. So let's get the other side done. I'm going to go ahead and get a new alternator for this, new water pump. I figure the original alternator and the original water pump were probably 160,000 miles. Probably somebody got their money's worth out of it. I'd rather not break down on the side of the road because of that. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that stuff. That way I don't have to break down on the side of the road. Time to throw some easy cheese on my front cover. I had to go and pick up a new squeeze tube. My old one broke. Here's my tube goo. Squeeze me out some easy cheese. Oh, come on, you're better than that. O-ring, 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 O-ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good there. Time for you to go back home, little guy. I'm here to tell you, Nissan doesn't mess around with their rack bolts. These things could hold a tank together. Well, probably not a Russian tank, but they're pretty beefy. Well, I'm continuing on the mend. Just keep putting in nuts and bolts until I'm out of nuts and bolts. This is a substantial job. This one had worse damage than most of these, with that cam lobe being wiped out. But it is what it is. It's about 3 o'clock. I'm gonna have to leave. Finish this up on Monday, but I've made really good headway. I'm pretty happy about it. I got a couple more pieces to glue on. I want to go ahead and get those done since I have my glue cut open today. I want to get all my glued on parts done today. So then it'll be, I'm actually at the point now where I got to start figuring out where the parts go that were off the car when it came to me, because I didn't take it apart. I took it apart partially, but part of it was already apart when I got it. But it is starting to look like a whole engine again, which is great. I've got a new alternator coming on Monday. I decided with 160K on the clock, new timing chains. It has a new high pressure fuel pump, which it came to me with that. New timing chains, new water pump, new thermostat. I'm going to put an alternator on it, and that should cover all my basic stuff. I am going to have to get front struts for it. My coil spring on the passenger's front is broken, so I will need to get a pair of front struts for it. The rear is air ride and it works, so hopefully I can have this thing running Monday. I can get it over to detail, get it cleaned up, and then I can put some miles on it before we go 7 hours north down to the lake, towing a boat with it. At least that's the plan. We'll see if that happens or not. Oh, fits so nice. That was a really bad failure. I think I'll be all right. The timing chains are different from one side to the other. They're wider on the right bank, probably to carry the additional load of the high pressure fuel pump cam. I'm moving along. I've got couple things yet to put on here, but I'm whittling away. I'm getting closer. A lot of new parts were actually on this car before I got it. It looks like it had a new radiator, a new oil cooler. The timing chains have been done, but it'd been a long time since they'd been done. It looks like it had a new oil pump in it. It does have a new high pressure fuel pump, which is a bonus because those are like $1,200. So that worked out in my favor. And that was like brand new right before I bought the from the guy that I bought it from, because they misdiagnosed the high pressure fuel pump issue as being the pump instead of realizing that that cam lobe was completely wiped out. So I suppose that's an easy mistake to make, but I would highly recommend pulling that lifter cup, this guy, out and inspecting it whenever you think that you need a high pressure fuel pump on one of these. But hey, I'm learning how these things work as we go too. I don't know these things all that well yet, but I have a much more in-depth knowledge of them now than I did before I started this project. But it's coming to an end. Get this thing wrapped up and on the road. Oh, this has been a job. So, worked on it better parts Friday, taking it apart about 5 hours on Saturday. And now it's Monday, and it's right about noon, I think. Looks like. So half day today, wrapping things up. I need to put some coolant in it. That'll be the next step. There's a coolant bleed right here that you have to open up. Tighten down my battery. That's no joke. That was a lot of work. But hopefully if I did my job right, fire up and run correctly. Did get burnt on, there's a coolant pipe that goes up behind the fan bearing housing assembly. So I had it all together. I had to take it all back apart because I didn't know that thing went back there. It was a little disappointing. Battery bolts don't need to be super tight. These things come in damaged all the time. They just need to be tight enough that the terminal doesn't move on it. Those get over tightened all the time. Battery hold down. I think I have everything on. Should use the vacuum lift for this, but I'll use that on a different one since this has an air bleed on it. That sucks. This brand new radiator has a hole in it. That's rather annoying. Well, I don't know if I did that or not. It's possible. Who knows? It definitely got a hole in it. This is actually a Vallejo radiator, but it is actually stamped a Nissan radiator. Too bad I damaged a brand new Nissan radiator. That's a shame. I ended up using a two-part epoxy to basically put a steel weld repair on the radiator. That way I can see if I can save the radiator, but also figure out if the engine's okay before I spend a whole bunch of money on a radiator for this thing. Because that would be dumb. Well, that was anticlimactic.
Okay. There is a safety plug that has a vibration over here. Tires, Kevin's truck,
a good sign. So alternator's charging, so my new alternator's working. Runs. That's a good start. Literally, good start. Just sit on there. Don't appear to have anything coming out the bottom. I'll get I'll plug in my fan. Belt looks like it's doing good. It's full. Let's check our oil level. Well, this wraps up a session with a Infiniti QX56 5.6 liter quad cam V8, 400 horsepower. This one is running quite well. I've put over 100 miles on it. Sent it down to the guys at Vortex Detail. They actually shined it up, made it look really good. They even polished my headlights, and I can probably see at night now. So big thanks to Tyler and Zach at Vortex Detail. They did a great job. And now it's time for me to hop in this thing and drive 7-8 hours south with a boat behind it, my wife and kids, and go play in the water, hopefully without any breakdowns. So we got 100 miles test drives in. I think we'll be just fine. Wish me luck. At any rate, this guy riding. Teddy bear strapped to the back. Yeah, whatever. At any rate, thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, and leave us a comment below. Y'all stay safe out there. See you on the next one.